Good morning and welcome to the Citadel GrayLine. We have a great show and I appreciate all the people already watching. But my name's Kyle Weaver, played for the Citadel for 4 years, 5 years actually, and was part of the two SoCon championship teams. That's the name to fame. Here with Rashad Graham, the director of FCA on campus. I'm sure he has a cool title for that. And then we got Jeff Hartsell from the Post and Courier, who's always here. So we're going to talk a little bit about football, use the insight that we have with somebody who's at practice every day around the team and other athletes as well at the Citadel. We're going to talk a little bit about FCA and what his vision is, purpose, and what his goals are for that. And then we're just going to talk a little bit about, what the rest of the season looks like and how the Dogs can finish strong and what this season could be for them. So first, let's talk a little bit about this past game. Obviously, a great win for homecoming and something that we were super excited about. They kind of that's probably one of our biggest wins of the season so far. So, Rashad, somebody who was there, Jeff, just go ahead and just give us the little recap of the game and everything.
Well, I think it's just a continuation of what we've seen since that VMI loss. They've really kind of turned the corner since then. They've won 3 straight. They beat Mercer 35-24, like you said, on homecoming before 11,000 fans. Really a good crowd, Johnson-Hagan Stadium. And I think we're seeing a couple things. Brandon Rainey returning to 100%, we can call it now, I think. He's back to his usual self. And then the defense improving pretty much every week.
Yep.
And really getting after it. And I don't know, are we good?
We're good.
Okay. And, so they really controlled the game against Mercer. I think there was a turning point there where Mercer stripped the ball from Raleigh Webb on the reverse. That could have been a turning point in the game, but this Citadel team was strong enough to overcome that and put the game away with 2 late touchdowns from Remus Bulmer.
And somebody who's on the sideline, what did that atmosphere feel like? I mean, we don't get that insight, a ton. So, tell us, what's going on the sideline. I mean, you're an encourager. That's kind of your job.
Oh, yeah.
So just go ahead and tell me, what it was like being on the sidelines and kind of how the emotions were high and low and what it was like to play in front of that homecoming crowd.
Yeah, well, anytime having to lead and losing lead is like a roller coaster sometimes. But when you see guys come off the sideline, Brandon Rainey just kind of, is one of the main names I think of. This guy comes off the sideline off a tough drive, knows that he can do better, his teammates can do better, and the first thing he does is get to his offensive line. He gets to his receivers and his backs. Let's go. This next drive, here's what we're going to do. You see Coach Boyd on the sideline. They're already, getting a plan together for the next drive, correcting mistakes on the last one. But the confidence stayed up, right? And that's something we talk about. We got a solid group of leaders on that squad. Mm-hmm. Those are the same guys Saturday after Saturday you see encouraging that team through the mistakes, but also when we make a big play. Those are the same guys. They bring the energy. They're the most hyped. They're also the ones making the plays as well. So they're leading on and off the field, and it's a big part of that presence and that energy on the sideline.
One crucial moment, of course, was at the end of the first half. Mercer had taken the lead, right, with just 35 seconds.
Yeah, short time. Yeah,
and you figure,
it's a triple option team,
right? They're going to be behind going into the half, but no, two plays. 65 yards, I think. Brandon Rainey had like a 45-yard run.
Yeah, we're in the end zone.
And then finds Raleigh Webb in the front corner of the end zone. And what a great catch.
That's a great play.
By Raleigh Webb. And I think the 2 catches he made in this game, he made one great catch on the sideline where he went up and got it. Mm-hmm. Those are the kind of catches that scouts want to see, I think. We know how fast he is, he can run under the bomb. But he went up and got those 2 balls at the high point.
Yeah.
And so that was really impressive to see by Raleigh Webb. And then, of course, in the third quarter, the Citadel just took over. I think they ran 24 plays to 9 for Mercer. And that's how you strangle the life out of a team. You just don't let them have the ball. And it's hard for a team to come back. And that's why that fumble where they stripped the ball from Raleigh Webb, that could have been such a key play because Mercer had a hard time getting their hands on the ball. But they got a free touchdown right there. So that really could have been a turning point. But the Citadel did not let that happen. So now they're 5-4, 3-2 in the conference, and they're one of 6 teams that has a shot at the league title. At this late point in the season, that's pretty rare to have that many teams still involved in the chase.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's going to be an exciting last 3 or 4 weeks of the season.
So we talked about that great drive going into half. I mean, that's definitely a
That's exciting.
Momentum and definitely changes the halftime atmosphere. But also we talked about the offensive line as well. 2 games really back to back that we feel like the offensive line really has dominated the line of scrimmage and really controlled the game. So we had.
I think it's 3 games in a row now. They've set a season high in rushing yards.
Yeah.
So they just keep
building
moving that number up. And when your team runs 24 plays in a quarter to 9 for the other team, the offensive line is doing the job.
And that's why we run the triple right there.
Yeah. And I wrote an article on Monday about why military teams stick with the triple option in this day and age where passing the ball and spread offenses and air raid is all the rage. And it's an equalizer. It helps level the playing field. You don't need 6'6", 300-pound tackles. You can win with guys like Kyle Weaver.
The Kyle Weaver.
And I think also I think every level, every style of football requires some level of discipline, right, and teamwork and effort. But I think the triple option might require even more.
Yeah.
Because you're not dependent on a star player to go up and catch a 50-50 ball. You're not dependent on a Kyler Murray, a talent like that. You're dependent on 11 guys each doing their job, and that sort of fits into a military school mindset.
It does. And just that grit, too. I was thinking the other day when I saw your article about the offense and our offensive line and how those guys are still healthy. And they're going through that grind that y'all go through, play after play, rep after rep, those long drives. And those guys are healthy. And then also, obviously, we have these long drives, and then our running back rotation and how those guys are healthy as well. It's kind of cool to see us have these long drives and our guys stay healthy over the course of the season. I mean, that's
and Kyle can tell you, Ron Boyd loves to pick 5 and play 5. There's not a lot of rotating going on in those offensive. You see the running backs running in and out with the plays, right? But you don't see guards running in and out with the plays, right, Kyle?
That's right. And, something about it is you invest in a, $5,000 knee brace, and that saves a lot of knees right there, I'll tell you. But yeah, it's great, to see that. And, the offensive line, that's why, you look at camp, our camp probably versus another school's camp. And, a lot of the players have other team or friends from high school or whatever that play at other universities and colleges. And, it's like, man, at their camp, they're in shells right now and we're in full pads. And it's like, in order to have this, healthy, it's hard to believe, but you have to, practice that way during camp and in the off season as well. Coach D has a big factor into it since he's watching. But, and those long days at camp and those plays that they make us do, the team sleds, the conditioning things that other schools aren't doing is what makes us the fourth quarter team, the second half team, the team that is healthy right now. And I don't remember the last time, and I don't really want to say out loud, but the offensive line had somebody who, went down and
it's been a while.
Typically if it is something, it's from my time frame it was concussion, or something like that. It wasn't necessarily there's knee, their shoulder, their this or that. So that's something. And we talk about the defense, continuing to move forward. So obviously we have a new defensive coordinator this year. So it's exciting to see him and this team kind of have now the battle reps, the war reps, and then also kind of fine-tuning that now. The players, seem to be fully understanding that. And then, now we're kind of seeing that played out, and I think they've done a great job on this winning streak as well.
Marquise Blunt was not able to play against Mercer. He had an injury, and he had won 2 straight SoCon Player of the Week awards. And I think you could tell they missed him a little bit. Mercer was able to get a mismatch with a receiver on a linebacker a couple of times. And I don't know if Marquise would have made a difference on those players or not, but Mercer was able to exploit some things. But I think the Citadel secondary has really come a long way. Early in the season, they had some busts on some assignments. They got beat on some 50-50 balls and weren't getting their heads around to make a play on the ball. But I think they've really come a long way in learning Coach Grantham's system. Jay Howard has stepped up as a starting cornerback. And, of course, Willie Eubanks has been playing great all season. Dalton Owens has been a mainstay up front. Joseph Randolph. So I think the defense is getting better. every week. They've got one more game to play before they finally get to that open date.
Yeah.
I think Coach Thompson's been wanting that since maybe the Georgia Tech game. He's been wanting that open date since Brandon got hurt, really, against Georgia Tech. But they'll finally get it coming up after the ETSU game.
Yeah, that bye's going to be big.
Yeah, it kind of works out great. It's a game that surprisingly, me and Rashad looked this up, it's only 5 hours to ETSU. Mm-hmm. But still, having that bye week after a away game is going to be fun. Allows them to get back late Sunday and kind of, have that slower week. I know they'll get a lot done, obviously, but also.
I just hope they're not looking forward to that bye week too much. To me, this is a trap game if there ever was a trap game, because ETSU, they haven't won a game in the conference this year. They're 2-6 overall, but this is a team that tied for the conference championship last year.
Yeah,
they still got some good players. They're still very good on defense. They've struggled on offense this year, but almost every game, you look at these scores that they've lost: 31-24 in overtime to Sanford, 17-10 to Furman, 16-13 to Chattanooga, 24-17 to Sanford. All these one-score losses that they've had, and they're eyeing the Citadel and thinking that they can break through this week. So this is really a trap game, and the Citadel's going to have to keep their spirits up for one more week before they hit that bye week if they want to stay in this SoCon chase.
Yeah. Yep. And that's exciting. The coaches are going to say that, and they're going to go hard this week and all that. They know they can rest and recover next week as well. Being on the road is another challenge and something that,
they've won at Georgia Tech and they've won at Furman, so I think they've shown they can handle the road. Yeah.
So as we talk about Furman, we were talking a little pre-show about Furman Wofford coming up. They're playing each other, and we talk about if we are to win the SoCon, what would need to happen with those two games. So
there's a big game in the SoCon chase this week. Furman is at Chattanooga. Furman's 4-1 and Chattanooga's 3-1. They lost in overtime to Wofford last week, and Chattanooga scored the touchdown in overtime, and they could have kicked it to tie the game and keep the overtime going, but they went for two. The receiver was open. The ball hit him in the hands, and he dropped it. And Wofford wins the game in overtime. So Chattanooga is coming up in a couple of weeks for the Citadel. If the Citadel can beat ETSU, that'll be a huge game.
Yeah, that'll be big.
But Furman plays Chattanooga this week, so who should Citadel fans root for? Probably Furman. And then next week, they need to root for Wofford to beat Furman.
Yeah.
To give Furman that second loss. And then that puts the Citadel in position to give Wofford its second loss on November 23rd. So the dominoes have
mixed up.
It's that time of year.
Have to fall.
Yep, it's that time of year. So
Wofford controls its own fate. If they win out, they play Clemson this week. Obviously, that doesn't affect the SoCon race. But if they win out, they'll win the championship and the auto bid that comes with it. But if they don't, if Citadel can win that final game, then everything is
everybody's at two losses.
Who knows what tiebreakers will have to be in play?
Yeah.
And that puts the Citadel. If the Citadel wins out, 8-4, 6-2 in the league, they're in the playoffs. Even if they don't get that auto bid.
Go
in
Dogs.
My opinion, if they win out until the Wofford game and finish 7-5, 5-3, I think they're on the bubble. They've got great wins at Georgia Tech and at Furman. That might be enough to get them at a large bid. So this ETSU game and then the Chattanooga game, just huge for Brent Thompson.
So who are some players with ETSU? I know you might have been in the film room, and Jeff, you just know a lot about everybody we play. So who are some players or some things that we should be looking forward to as fans, during the game? Who should we be looking for, or what type of things should we be looking for?
You're asking the wrong
I
guy.
don't know a lot about ETSU at this moment here on Wednesday, but I do know that their preseason SoCon Defensive Player of the Year, Nasir Player, a big defensive end from the Columbia area, he apparently was called for targeting in their last game and may have to sit out the first half of this game. So that's something we'll have to keep an eye on, because he's a great player. I can't remember how tall he is. He's probably about 6'5", defensive end, and obviously the SoCon preseason Defensive Player of the Year, so he'll make a big difference whether he's in there or not for ETSU. But as we said, the defense has really played well this year. Held Furman to 17 points, et cetera, et cetera. It's on offense that they've had trouble getting things going. But as we said, this was a team that tied for the league title last year. Still has a lot of those players back, and has lost a lot of close games this season. So still have to be careful not to fall into that trap.
Yep. Yep. Well, we know that this guy will be there getting them motivated. But
Yes,
we'll take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to talk about our special guest and kind of what he's got going on and what's going on the campus. But before we do, just want to remind that Citadel GrayLine is delivered by IPS Packaging. For your packaging supplies and automation needs, call IPS Packaging and Automation at 1-800-277-7007. To learn more, visit ipack.com. IPS Packaging and Automation is a proud supporter of Citadel Athletics. Also a reminder, we're here at Toast. Tell us about the omelet you just had.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah.
And fast. It came out so fast.
Yeah, so
like
we ordered
minutes.
5 minutes. Came out burning hot.
Yeah.
Toast and some
And now
grits.
it's gone.
So really good spot. Got great food here, great coffee, great breakfast spot. So just come visit. We're right here on the Isle Palm Connector, but there's also some in West Ashley. They have them all over. And but there's multiple locations. They also have live music coming in on Fridays and Saturdays now, and great happy hours. So come visit. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Citadel GrayLine. My name is Kyle Weaver, here with the crew here. And so we're going to talk a little bit about what Rashad's got going on at the Citadel. So he is in his first year as, what is your title? FCA?
He's the campus representative for Citadel Fellowship of Christian Athletes.
Cool. And so what that means is he's with our players. He's at practice. He's building relationships, not with just football, but with basketball, with every sport at the Citadel. So he's leading Bible studies, which I think you said you have on Thursday night.
Thursday nights, yep.
And so he's, kind of working into it. I know when we were there, we had a lunch meeting on Mondays, in which, we went to and kind of had a little chapel. And, it's really tough for athletes to get involved with many ministries on campus because their schedules don't match.
So demanding, yeah.
So basically, FCA is one of the only that Citadel athletes can be involved in. So, scheduling of when you need to be there and when you can have Bible study and when you can have these events is very unique. So it's not an easy job kind of facing those challenges.
Yeah.
And also he's been, kind of pouring into multiple sports. So
Yeah.
why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're doing right now, what you got going on, and we'll go from there.
My job in a nutshell is just to wake up, as I tell people I do. I wake up, I work out, and I love people. That's kind of what I do. I get to campus in the morning. Some days I use a one-on-one meeting with students. Sometimes I just kind of hang out with coaches and, share a little bit of the word. And then, sometimes, like I said, we'll deal with a student one-on-one, dig into the scriptures a little bit. And then Thursday nights is kind of our big day. If there was like a money day, so to say, Thursday nights we come together. There's either a guest speaker, there's a small group, there's a demonstration, we play a game. We have 40, 50 athletes come, and that's kind of their time to get away from sport and just talk about the scriptures and just kind of, I just really want to dig into their heart and see, what's there, just meet them right where they are, kind of with the love of Jesus. So I love it. I love what I do. And I think as demanding as their schedules are, my job is to kind of be available. That's really what I have to do, is just be available and be there. Be ready to love them, right where they are.
Yeah. And so how'd you get into this? Company commander.
Yeah.
Teacher for a year.
Yeah, I was a cadet at the Citadel, just newly a Christian, and bumped into Rashawn Frost, who had this job before I did, and he kind of mentored me and mentored a lot of our classmates and friends, and I was teaching and coaching back home, and just kind of really felt the tug on my heart to serve. And Rashawn called me up one day and was like, hey, things are transitioning. I'm thinking about, I think God has called me elsewhere. What do you think about taking on FCA? And I kind of wrestled with it for a few days, and I called up our area director, and we kind of talked, and the door was open. I stepped right in. So I love what I do. I enjoy being here. It's kind of fun being back in Citadel land again, getting the opportunity to spend time with coaches and athletes. I love that part. So it's great being back. And while I was there as a cadet, though, I kind of served for FCA. I felt like I was Rashawn's right-hand man, so I was like the FCA leader as a student. I just had a time to kind of share the gospel and speak. People would call me preacher and rev and father and all that kind of stuff. So little nicknames around campus and just small Bible studies. And now this gives me the opportunity to do it as a job. So
right.
I enjoy it.
I remember.
Did you really have a chance, Kyle, to develop one-on-one relationships with these student athletes, and you like them to come to you with their problems?
Oh, yeah, I love it.
No matter if it's academic or personal.
Oh, yeah, whatever it is.
Athletic. Just talk about that a little bit.
So that's kind of what I love to do, right? And the first thing about that is building relationships and kind of being relevant. So I think it helps that I'm 25. I'll be 26 tomorrow, but it kind of helps that I'm younger, so they don't feel like I'm an uncle or a dad. And I just build those relationships through conversation, through being around, just showing up, and they see that you care, and then they're willing to come to you with their problems, right? So when they come to me with their problems, you have to listen to it and hear it out. And I try to find a way to make sure that, I relate it back to the scriptures, and I pray with them, pray for them, and say, hey, let's follow up. And that's a big part too. Like, it's one thing if I just talk to you now and never see you again, but if I talk to you now, we follow up next week, and now you feel like you got somebody who's locking arms with you and walking alongside you through whatever's going on in your life. And that's a big part, right? And that just shows them that I love them. That's all I want to do.
Yeah.
Whether it's a small deal like giving somebody some water at practice, or sitting down talking about, a family member passing away, I just want it to be obvious that I love you, and the first way that you'll know that is through relationships. So that's kind of how it goes.
So besides a coach, you see these guys probably, and girls. I mean, I'm speaking from a football perspective, but during my time, I would see the FCA guy, just as much as anybody else besides a football coach.
Yeah.
So you talk about he's there at practice, he's there, on game days, travels with the teams, all those things. So it really does. You're saying like, hey, I'm giving people water. You're basically like a coach, and you have an understanding of both football, both the Citadel. So you have that understanding, and it's somebody that you can kind of go to, vent to, and really, kind of have a godly perspective on how people should handle situations, which, everybody knows that college is, a learning experience for a lot of people, and a time when a lot of people sometimes make bad decisions, and you're kind of there to try to prevent that.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. So what do you have going on? I know, you're freshly into this. So, how can the viewers that are watching help you, or, how can just go ahead and walk us through that?
The biggest thing right now is I really feel, obviously, I have a passion for sports.
Yeah.
Right. I have a passion for God and the scriptures and just sharing the gospel. And I think that God has given me an opportunity to take both of those and put them together, right? Like, I get the time every day to spend time around sports and athletes, and I get the time every day to dig into the word and share the gospel. And that's what FCA does for me, right? And it gives me the opportunity to do that, to step onto a campus and meet athletes and coaches right where they are. I'm excited, right? I love it. And the one thing that allows me to do this full time is support raising, right? So I'm looking for, I'm out in Citadel land, looking through our alumni database, trying to meet people here in Charleston, and saying, hey, I'm Rashard Graham. Here's where I came from in Lake City. Here's what I did here while I'm at the Citadel. Here's what God has done for me in my life, and I'm here now. Can you lock arms with me? Can you refer me to more people who will listen to what I have going on? Can you come volunteer for our FCA? Can you come speak? But also, can you donate? And that's a big thing right now is looking for the donors, because the way that FCA works through our nonprofit is I live off monthly support from donors. So I go out to somebody, I share with them what I do, and I say, hey, listen, I'd really love for you to jump on board. Can you support me at this amount a month, that amount a month, that amount a month? That way, I can budget, FCA can budget how much I'm making, how much people are giving, and then I can get paid that way. So right now I'm not getting paid because I don't have all the donors yet. We have deadlines and goals that we got to reach, and I'm working towards that. A little challenging for me, right, fundraising, but I believe that this is what God has called me to. too. So I'm swinging punches at it, and I'm fighting for it. Just trying to find the people that are willing and are kingdom-minded people that want to donate to what we have going on. Because I mean, it's a ministry, and it's literally what they're doing. They're just pouring into a ministry, kind of mobilizing me to be an extension, just to be a disciple, basically. Right. Yeah.
And I know there's multiple ways. Last time me and you hung out, I was bugging you about this and telling you need to reach out to this person. But, the ways that you can support are through a website that you have a link to that we can probably post here on this video. So we can do that. They can reach out to you on Facebook.
Yeah, reach out to me.
You use your regular name for that, correct? And then also, there is other things that you can't do monthly or this or that. There is some other things that when you donate a one-time deal, that is what is used for the FCA. It's not necessarily
kind of like supplies and whatnot.
Yeah. So it's a little different. So he's looking for the monthly support right now, but anything helps. So we're just trying to build some momentum and reach out to this guy. I know, while I was there, you were the fan favorite, and
I felt like I was on the football team, man.
Yeah, I did too. I saw you that much. So
and listen, I was at a football thing that Mario Cooper had a few months ago.
Yeah.
And I was introducing Malik Diggs to somebody, and I was like, "Hey, here's my friend Diggy. I play football with him." And he's like, "You didn't play." And I was just around you guys so much, I felt like I was on the team. It was kind of funny, man. I was like, "Yeah, I didn't play, but
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. It's great that's going on, and we're excited to have you at the Citadel. And I know that's something that you were coaching and potentially moving into a D coordinator job and all that. Back in Lake City or here and there. And I know you have a passion for your hometown as well. He actually has a holiday there, so they donated a whole day to him. So he's got a lot going on besides the Citadel. So I know it's special to you and to us that you're here.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here, man. I really am.
And we're really hoping that takes off and
yes,
that will support. Well, why don't you, to somebody who is around the Citadel and the athletes every day, why don't you just dive into what that looks like? So what can the viewers get from you that they will never get to see because they don't get to spend so much time with you, with the players?
And what do you mean? Are you saying?
It's a very broad question. I mean, you can go a lot of ways. I mean, what? Tell me about, you obviously mentor and guide people through their struggles in the Citadel.
Yeah,
so,
I do.
What are some things that, they see, obviously not real examples, but just some ideas of what our players go through that other universities and colleges don't.
Yeah, so, I'll tell you straight like this. I tell guys all the time that Coach Thompson wants you to win games. Coach D wants you to be stronger. I want you to go to heaven, right? So when you're asking questions about football earlier, I didn't really – I let coaches be coaches, right? We already got 13 on staff. They already got 5,000 people in the stands that say run when we throw, say run trap when we run, outside zone, whatever, So they got enough on their hands. My job is just to spend time with the athletes and the coaches and take their mind away from sport and just pour the gospel into them. But, it's stressful, man. Yeah. It's stressful. They face a lot of stuff on a daily basis. They wake up, there's either PT or formation, they're in a uniform. If it's a freshman, somebody's yelling at him, or upperclassman is worried about, his or her responsibilities and, what class is up next and speed walking to that class. They face a lot. And that's on top of, their sport. Okay, coach was yelling at me, I can't do this right, or, I just lost my spot, or I'm off the field, or, so we see those type of challenges, and then you see the personal challenges of, hey, I got some things going on at home, my mom's sick, hey, we couldn't, we missed a bill, whatever the challenge may be. But also on the other end of the spectrum is, hey, I just earned my spot, right? Or, Coach Thompson, his famous fist pump on the sidelines, after we just scored a touchdown from the 30-yard line, big pass to Raleigh Webb, So you get to be a part of the good moments as well, right? And it's great every single day to encounter the struggles, the ups and the downs of these people and be like, these are my people, right? Like, I love them. So, there's a number of challenges that they face. And literally, it's just my job to just be there to let them know that I love them and I'm walking alongside them, right? So we'll come and, now we got Starbucks on campus, right? So it's like one of my favorite meeting spots. Starbucks, Chick-fil-A is number one. Starbucks is number two. So, we'll sit down, meet, and just talk about, whatever's going on.
Yeah.
And sometimes, there's a couple of meetings where I've had, it's just, listen, I just want you to talk. And I just want you to tell me about yourself and whatever's going on. I'm not going to say anything until you finish, because sometimes, it's not that I have an answer or they want an answer. Sometimes people just want to talk, man. They just want a friend and somebody to talk to and to get their mind away from their problems. So whatever way I can serve, that's just what I do.
I tell you, as the father of young adults and a teenager, I know parents worry about the stress kids are under
Yeah.
these days, and you think about college kids at a regular college, they have, or if they're athletes, they have their sport and their classwork and their family life to consider. At the Citadel, you got that third rail
Yeah.
of the
Military. Yeah.
That adds even more stress. I think the more people kids have access to talk to about
Yeah.
what's going on in their lives, the better off they'll be. And I know Coach D is a mentor
He is.
aside from strength coach. I know Kevin Yeager is a mentor aside
Yeah.
from being in charge of the equipment, and they have you there as well.
Yeah. I'm just being my piece of the
For
puzzle.
their spiritual equipment.
That's it. That's
right.
it. I like that. I'm using that.
That's important work.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. And it's switching subject. You talked about some of the financial hardship that some of these players are under. The NCAA came out. They're coming back with some
Yeah.
some video games, as well as allowing players to make profit off of their image and their likeliness. So, I'd love to get both of your opinions on that.
I was thinking that since I was around you guys so much, whenever y'all get some money for your image and your likeness, then I could get some.
I'm 4 years too old.
I think it's inevitable, and what the NCAA said this week is just the very first tiny step in what's going to be, I think, a longer process to get there. I have questions about how it's enforced and what it means for big schools. Is a car dealer in Alabama going to pay the starting quarterback at Alabama $1 million every year to endorse? I can see that happening, can't you? I mean,
Right.
to endorse his
Yeah.
car dealership.
It's got to be a
What it means for a
maximum.
school like the Citadel, I have no idea. I think there's some group licensing that can go on where businesses can use Citadel Athletics.
Some trainers, some
as an
other
endorser,
things.
Like, is it Mama Ken?
Mama Kim's,
Yeah, Mama
yeah,
Kim's,
John
yeah.
Sen, man.
Maybe a Citadel player gets his face on the menu at
Yeah.
Mama Kim's. I don't know how it works at the Citadel level, but it's heading this way, and I think the more rights for the student athletes, the better. There's no reason they can't earn money the same way somebody on a music scholarship or any other kind of scholarship can earn money. The problem is that when you get to the big time, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so should it be regulated? How do you regulate it? I have no idea. Smarter people than me
Yeah.
are going to have to figure that out, probably in the courts.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm sure some college, that we're going to see here 5 years from now, and some college is going to be in a world of mess because of this.
Yeah.
Because maybe the NCAA didn't think about that, and whether they're wrong or right with it, and whether they're within the rules or outside the rules, people are going to, have an opinion on it.
There's
So,
always unintended consequences, like with the 4-game red shirt rule. You saw what happened at Houston, where these guys played 4 games and the team wasn't doing well. They said, okay, we'll just take the rest of the year off and come back next year and try it again. That was not what the rule was intended for.
Yeah.
So who knows where it'll go with this thing. But I can see, like I said, a deal where the major car dealer in Birmingham says, okay, I'm going to pay whoever the starting quarterback is $1 million every year. And
so how, you can recruit with that. Hey,
the
you
car
could win the
dealer-
starting spot.
The
You
car
get
dealer in Greenville is going to have to compete with that for Clemson. So
Yeah.
where does it end? I don't know.
Yeah. I think, like I told you, don't really know the X's and O's and the coaching or the school administration part of that, but I think it's another opportunity for FCA to be molding and mentoring and pouring into kids that the decisions they make are, moral and ethically straight, right? Because I think anytime there's an opportunity to make more money or do something, then there's an opportunity for evil to come up, right? Like something bad, kind of like you said about, a loophole or trying to take advantage of a situation. So, it's just another opportunity for me to come alongside some young athlete and say, hey, this decision you're making, is it right? So.
But the Citadel they're not even at the stipend level yet.
Yeah.
Pay stipends to cover the total cost of attendance. The Citadel's not even there.
Not even
yet.
there,
So
yeah.
The Citadel's way down the trickle-down effect for whatever rule.
Hey, but $100
that,
running a camp or showing up to a gym is $100. I mean,
And if Kyle Weaver was a senior lineman at the Citadel, he could go home to Hilton Head and say, after he won his first SoCon, say, come to Kyle Weaver's offensive line camp.
Oh, yeah.
This guy helped the Citadel win a SoCon championship, and he gets 50 kids to turn out, and he makes some money.
Boom.
So, and now that sort of thing or when the rules are passed, that sort of thing can happen. So yeah, like I said, I'm all for more rights for the student athletes and more opportunity to make money. Policing it is going to be a headache.
Yeah.
So
I
we'll
bet.
see how that goes.
Yep, well, we're excited. Well, hey.
Now, there was one more thing.
Yeah.
There was one special moment Saturday that I wanted to mention. That's when Terry Straighten,
Yeah.
young freshman from James Island.
yeah.
He plays center right now. He's the number 2 center. He was surprised with a reunion with his father, who was deployed in, I think, in Europe at this time. And his father, they called Terrius out on the field for some recognition or another. They pretty much made something up.
Yeah.
And then you can see his father coming up from behind. So 11,000 people were watching and keeping the secret while his father came up.
They played tough, though.
Yeah, they
I'll
did.
tell you,
Yeah.
he didn't break down or nothing.
Yeah.
I would have been.
No, but it was still a special moment.
Yeah.
So I have a story in the paper coming up Thursday or Friday, sort of the story behind that, how they made it happen, and the relationship between Terrius and his father. So that should be a cool story coming up. It was definitely a cool moment on Saturday at the homecoming game.
2 things really special about that. That smile you see from Terry Drayton is like an everyday thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
He's a really quiet guy. He doesn't really talk much, but that smile is every day. And then I got on Twitter that night and saw Drew McIntyre tweeted and was like, we're talking about how tough these linemen are. Yeah. And he's like, if you ever want to see 5 linemen crying in the middle of a game.
That's what I heard.
And Conti said the same thing. He's like, 12, players crying in the huddle, and maybe a few coaches. He was trying to act tough, but he was.
I think Terry Strayton is going to be a good football player for the Citadel. He's a big kid.
He is a big guy.
I shook hands with him. He swallowed up, and he's a good kid too.
Yeah, he is. He's a great kid.
He wants to do well and wants to work hard. So I think you're going to see the center's coming back next year, Hayden Haas. So they might move Terrius to a different position on the line. But I think he's going to be a solid offensive lineman for the Citadel.
Sure.
Hey, if you can block and move your feet, man, you're good, right? Well, hey, guys, appreciate you guys coming. Appreciate Toast and our other sponsors for having us. Appreciate you guys listening, and we'll be back next week with the same thing. So go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
And beat ETSU.
Yes, sir.